Well, that was something.
Movies Novelization Book Club.
Hello.
What's up, guys? And joining us again for this episode, we have Jeremy back joining us for another Terminator novelization. We are discussing Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This novelization was written by Randall Frakes, based on the screenplay by James Cameron and William Wisher. And a little brief summary. So the Terminator is back. It's been almost 10 years, and he's here on a new mission. In the original story, he was sent to kill John Connor. In this story, he is sent to protect John Connor, and he and John Connor go to the mental institution and free his mother, Sarah Connor, who's been held there for a few years now. And together, they all team up to try to take down the source of what will eventually be Judgment Day, that will also bring the rise of the machines and almost the end of mankind as we know it.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's start with what this adds. So if you've seen the special edition version of Terminator 2, you've pretty much read this book with a couple scenes added. Mainly the first two chapters. Chapter 1 is right after the first movie ends. Chapter 2 is in the future and explains how they infiltrate Skynet. And after Kyle Reese has his cameo, and then John Connor picks out a Terminator. They don't know why. His men don't know why, but he's going to send it back in time to save himself. Which adds something that's kind of interesting, because the third movie contradicts this, because the third movie is a piece of trash. Sarah Connor survives into the future. This is like the only Terminator media that does this. Which I thought was weird. I liked it. Probably the thing I liked the most in this book. The only other thing that this adds is that it adds a scene where we find out what happened to all the Sarah Connor tapes. They're just in a hole in the wall.
Yeah. So I thought this was the way, for a sequel, this is the perfect sequel novelization, in my opinion, because it ties into the novelization of the first one, which I thought was a fantastic novelization. Like, because it feels like the film, and it adds some extra stuff to it, which is what we always like in these novelizations. And I think the second book did an excellent job doing the very same thing, but not just tying into the film and adding some extra stuff, but like connecting it directly to the novelization material for the first book, which I thought was really cool, because we don't really get that in other novelization sequels that I can think of. Like, little bits and pieces that are added to the first book, and then the author would bring back things that tied into those extra things. And I don't know if it has anything to do with deleted scenes or not.
I think it has to do more so with Randall Frakes wrote the first one.
Yeah, that's true. So it could be that. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it was a deleted scene or not, because back in the day they didn't have access to deleted scenes. So that's what's cool about novelizations, and what I really liked about this one.
Here's the problem with this novelization. It's not the novelization's fault. Pretty shortly after the movie Terminator 2 got released on VHS, I think was when we got what's now called the Skynet cut, which is the special edition version or the early DVD version. This is one of those first movies that got a DVD recut. The only other ones I can think of that did this back in the day were Aliens and Blade Runner. Got different cuts, and I think it's specifically for Laserdisc.
Okay.
And they add stuff in, like the John Connor, the Kyle Reese, Sarah Connor dream sequence that's in the director's cut. Most of the Miles Dyson stuff is in the director's cut. Although what Randall Frakes does is he explains the character that creates Skynet in the last chapter of the first book,
Yeah.
brings him back. That was nice. And then the only other thing I can think of is the end, like that little epilogue thing at the end of the book. That's a deleted scene that's never been put back into cut. Thank goodness.
I actually watched that deleted scene on YouTube today.
Yeah.
And while I admit it has like a more clear ending to the story, I do kind of prefer the original ending in the film because like it's more, it leaves it open. And in a way, this novelization tried to kind of somewhat leave it open and kind of hinted that the Terminator sensed that not all was right. But so I was wanting to say this was kind of like with the first Terminator. This was like a different, a little different for me because I originally thought I'd never seen this movie ever because I haven't seen the Terminator films until just recently. But I actually did watch this movie long time ago. But the only part that stuck out was the dream scene with Sarah Connor getting incinerated. But as a novelization, I thought it was I thought it did pretty. I thought it was pretty good. I will say I liked the first one better.
Really?
Yeah. I felt more glued to that one, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's just like whenever I was reading this one, the parts that I enjoyed the most, well, I should say the parts that I that stuck out to me were like the prologue where we have that extended scene with John Connor talking to Kyle Reese, and he know that did answer a question: does John Connor know Kyle Reese is his father when he sends him back? And yes, he does. And I like that scene. I kind of thought it was sentimental in a way. So
well, yeah, that's something that stays true in any iteration of Terminator that involves Kyle Reese. I mean, that's a whole plot point in Terminator Salvation is finding Kyle Reese.
Oh, really?
That.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I haven't seen
and
that
he's
movie.
like a teenager. He's a kid in it.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. Very bad movie.
Well, I like with this book though, it mentions that like Kyle Reese only spoke with or John Connor had only spoken with Kyle Reese like 5 times and didn't really know who he was, which I thought was kind of cool. Like he knew Kyle Reese, but he didn't think of him as the Kyle Reese that will become his father. So I thought that was like a neat little twist that he just kind of, it was lost in his mind,
There's a lot going on, so yeah, it makes sense. I really like that he's this strong man, but like when his mom dies on a supply run, it just breaks him.
Yeah.
Which means that she was an old lady out on these supply runs.
Yeah, but see, because this is the timeline shifts in the story. Is we get stuff like with that in the novelization that we didn't get in the film, but then that timeline is corrected also in the novelization to where she does survive in the end and lives out into the future, which was kind of cool. And I do have something to talk about at the, I guess, closer to the end of the podcast about the date that's listed. But I thought that the Miles Dyson stuff in the novel was more emotionally driven than it was in the film. And I thought they did
because
a
most of
good
the
job.
Miles Dyson stuff gets cut in the theatrical cut.
Okay.
There's some stuff added in the Skynet cut that's in this novelization. I mean, the stuff with his kids, like his daughter's cut out of the film completely
I noticed that too. Yeah, I
in
didn't.
the theatrical version, but like, and they explain why she's not even in the scenes in the novelization, which is nice. We haven't even talked about John Connor and how much of a brat he is.
Yeah.
He's just a little a-hole.
Well, that's sort of my question that I was going to ask you, Adam, because you said that you liked the first book better. It, for me, it's hard for me to pick a favorite, but I think is it because the first one felt was it more because of the horror aspect of it and how this one kind of sprinkled in a lot more humor and John Connor being a youth tries to bring in some of that to it or what?
Actually, yeah, that's exactly it. I like the horror aspect of Terminator because I liked it when he was actually a threat, and
Right.
I don't remember him killing a lot of people in this movie. If I don't even think he did, I because I know that I don't know they kind of made it a little bit more campy. I mean,
He
the movie was
kneecaps
good.
people with a 50 cal machine gun, which
I mean,
would
that's true.
in
Yeah,
real life they would bleed out and die.
Yeah.
yeah. But I
So,
don't know. And I just I liked the movie. I did. I enjoyed it. Um, but I don't know. The first one, movie and novelization, was just better in my opinion. But probably because, in all fairness, the very first Terminator movie I ever watched was the third one. So this was like a breath of fresh air.
hey, that's better than Terminator Genesis.
Yeah, and
They don't even bother to spell Genesis correctly. It's like a
Genesis,
Y.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like got a Y in it for no reason.
but yeah, the John Connor stuff was it was okay, but I don't know, it just kind of toned it down the theme.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like they were trying to make it more family friendly in a
Well,
way.
yeah, an R-rated, family-friendly film that got a lot of toys.
It did. I had a lot of those toys.
But
So
go ahead.
the one line that I had written down in my notes that I don't know why I thought it was cool. Like John Connor says, time travel isn't over, even when it's over,
Mhm.
which kind of explains the whole franchise in general.
It's
Everything
probably the only time
changes.
they've ever tried to explain it.
Yeah.
But like I said, the novelization's well written. I just wasn't as invested in it. And I'm definitely not going to give it a bad grade because it's
Mhm.
a good read. I do recommend it. And I just I don't know.
I
It
preferred.
didn't capture it for me.
I thought the death of the Terminator in the novelization was worse than the film.
Yeah.
Because the film, this is a moment where the film actually got deeper and more emotional than the novelization. So I think in the novelization, doesn't he just like walks off the ledge to fall in that pit of fire? And in the film, he's holding onto the chain, he's being lowered down, he's got the thumbs
Yeah,
up.
because yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it handles it goes to his perspective. And like he kind of becomes sentient at the end, which is weird.
Yeah, because it says he like falls through something like oblivion or
Yeah.
salvation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was an interesting little take on
And,
that.
and then like the T1000, it explains that its programming is going haywire after it gets frozen in the liquid nitrogen, which is why it's not forming properly, which
Yeah.
is a nice touch.
Yeah.
It also hinted that the T1000 can somewhat feel pain.
Yeah.
And it had a little bit more emotion.
Mhm.
Like, the Terminator is very monotone,
Mhm.
but the T1000, like, I'm guessing like the best way to explain it is that he's an upgraded assassin. And
Yeah, he was a prototype,
mhm,
and they make it clear in the novelization that Skynet just got plain desperate,
mhm.
and that's why they sent him out without testing him further.
Yeah.
Because it may or may not be sentient, it's fine that we don't know. Like that's left kind of ambiguous. So yeah, um, I like that Sarah Connor is just crazy. That's
Yeah,
something I do like.
oh,
Me too.
on that, there was one scene that I did like enjoy. It was after like she holds uh the the psychiatrist like hostage, like he's like she got like chemicals about to inject into his neck, but
Oh, the
there's like a
bleach. Yeah.
yeah, there's like a scene afterwards where after he witnesses the T-1000 and all the chaos ensue, like he's like it's like karma, like
Hmm.
because he's now in the same position Sarah Connor was, like she was telling the truth, like we're all doomed, and like then they strap him down in the bed and like lock
He
him up.
has a cameo in the third one.
Oh, he does.
He does. It's very brief. He shows up and then he sees the TX and he's like, "Not again."
Oh,
Runs away.
they,
It's one of the few highlights of that movie.
so they kind of play it as a gag.
Oh yeah, because what else are you going to do with him? Can you spell Genesis correctly, Animal Mother? You got to put a Y in there.
So the thing that bothered me at the end, I did some research with the date July 11th, 2029. It's listed as a Sunday. That is incorrect. July 11th, 2029 is actually a Wednesday. So, yeah, that screws up the whole timeline again.
They probably just didn't want the end of the world to happen on a work day.
I guess. I guess so. Like, darn.
um, but yeah, I'm kind of with you, Jeremy. There's not really much more to add.
Yeah.
It was a good novelization. I enjoyed it, and I recommend people check it out, especially if you're fans of the Terminator. I just
I thought it was cool that we get to see John Connor send Kyle Reese back to 1984.
Oh yeah, that's just
That
one
was a neat
chapter
touch.
though.
Yeah.
mhm.
We got to talk about the ending.
Year 2029.
Yeah. I hate the last chapter of this novelization.
Really?
Like I viscerally hate it. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
It's like,
the
what do you hate
epilogue,
about it, Tim?
yeah, he's
Oh, he's a senator now and he passed a bill that's equality for everyone. And I'm just like, F off with your 90s politics. Like I
Yeah.
hate it. And she's still recording onto a tape recorder in 2029. And it doesn't help that I've seen the scene because they filmed it and they put Linda Hamilton in some of the worst. I think the only time it's been rivaled in old age makeup in the bad department is the old Peter Wayland in Prometheus.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it just looks bad. It looks bad.
What's wrong with recording on tape in the future? I've got
Yeah.
sealed cassettes here that I keep notes on. Not really. I have a bunch of them that I plan to do something with eventually.
we do have a question here that is actually a good one for the novelization. Did the novel do a good job describing what we see with special effects, such as how T-1000 could regenerate?
It leaves it kind of vague. Um, which how do you explain that? You know, it's liquid metal and they're all sentient pieces like it's hive mind is what I remembered. Like it's not an individual, it's just a bunch, it's a collective. It's kind of how I remembered that being explained. It reminded me of in the Force Awakens novelization when Alan Dean Foster had to explain how on Earth Starkiller Base would actually work. And he goes into like quantum physics to try to explain a movie that like the director couldn't care less about how anything actually made sense. He was about the emotions. At least this movie actually has emotions. I feel something other than disgust.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
a good novelization.
it was. We got a more in-depth look at the war that was taking place in the future.
Yeah.
You know, and I was kind of shocked when I found out how Sarah Connor died in that time period, that timeline.
It's better than how she died in the movies.
Yeah.
I haven't got that far yet. I know, yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to check out the rest of the series. Someone Animal Mother 80 commented about watching Genesis. Like I need to, I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I watch the whole series?
I
If
did
you
watch
want us-
Genesis.
We saw it when it came out.
I like the thing with it. To me, in my mind, the only canon for the Terminator is 1 and 2. But the other ones can be like spin-offs because of the time. Like to me, like the timeline, how it branched off into two different events here in the novelization, to me explains like, okay, yeah, those other films could be alternate realities that tie in to this. It doesn't mean that that's like the John Connor that we know from here. You know what I mean?
So in a way, it's more like an expanded universe.
And it's an expanded
With
universe.
the biggest joke that is continuity.
Yeah.
There is no continuity. It's just
There's
nonsense. I mean, some of it's good nonsense. Like I love the Dark Horse Terminator comics. Those are fun. In fact, there was a crowdfunding campaign for Dynamite to release them in metal bound books. It's pretty metal.
That's a good comment by Small Time Republic there. Arnold was actually saying, I'll be Bach as homage to the German composer.
That, you know, if they that scene would have been great if at that when he said that they would have added that Bach piece that you hear in like Dracula movies, like kind of want to see if people would have gotten that.
As for the movies, Adam, just be prepared to be disappointed, and you'll probably hate Genesis the most.
Is that the one with Christian Bale?
No, that's Salvation. Salvation's just a terrible movie with Christian Bale not wanting to be there. Apparently, he threw a temper tantrum on set.
Yeah, he did.
And that's why they didn't make a sequel to Salvation.
Yeah,
because they planned a whole trilogy with him.
But I've heard that too, but I thought it was like I heard he's known for like doing that, but it could have been.
Well, he seemed. I assume all celebrities are giant a-holes.
Speaking of that, what did you guys rate this novelization?
Oh yeah, we should probably talk about the grade.
For me, I'll just go first. I'm going to give it an A+. I liked it. I think I liked it more because of the way it tied into the first novelization. Like it was just an extended story. It wasn't something that felt separate at all. And again, I got to give a shout out to the YouTube channel Teach, who did an audio version of Terminator and Terminator 2. And he's also doing the expanded material that ties into the Terminator 2 T2 trilogy, I think is what it's called. So he's working on that right now. Yeah. I haven't checked that out yet, but I plan on listening whenever he's completely done with book 1 in the T2 series. But for me, A+.
Yeah, I also listened to Teach's audio book of this, and I posted a link in our Facebook page if you guys want to go check out his channel. Definitely do. Like, I I really do appreciate when people like teach an 80s slasher librarian, just narrate these books on their own time with their own resources, just so that way, everybody has a chance to be able to read this book. So yeah, definitely kudos and shout out to them. But for me, originally I was going to kind of do what a college professor of mine did, and he'd always like whenever he grade papers, he would like give at very best your paper is this, at very worst it's this. And I was going to say it's a B plus A minus, but I'm just going to say it's an A minus.
Yeah, I give it a 4.3 out of 5. I like the chapter setup. It's more conventional.
Yeah,
this time around, which was kind of refreshing. I'm going to be real.
The pacing was pretty good too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh yeah. No, it keeps up the same pace as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Connor Chronicles are awful.
It was a TV show, wasn't it?
Yeah. The only thing that's nice about it is the woman that plays Sarah Connor is a very attractive woman. She was what's her face? The evil queen in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she played Sarah Connor for 2 seasons of a show that and the guy who played John Connor, he's in the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The other thing I've seen him in. And then the woman from the band Garbage is a T-1001. Yeah. No, I have eclectic taste. I'd rather watch Zardoz.
Oh.
When are we going to do that novelization, Jeremy?
When are we going to watch Zardoz? Because you need to see it first.
I know, I do. I have the novelization. Don't we all have it? I have
the novelization too. No, Adam does not have it.
That's the
his white whale.
Nope.
It's definitely his brown whale.
That's the one novelization I think I have. I promised you, I made a promise that if I found it in the wild, I would buy it. But I also promised that I would not go out of my way to look for it. So
what if I gifted you a copy?
That doesn't count.
It has to be.
It has to be out in the wild.
What if at my wedding you just see a copy out? Yep.
We go to a bookstore and you just like sneak a copy in there and just be like,
hey, "Oh no! I mean, like I just put it on a chair."
Yeah. You find it in the wild. You just walk up to the buffet line and there's a copy right there. You're like, what?
Oh, this is your dinner.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I swear if that's my groomsman gift, like
I haven't even done that yet.
Do it. It has to be.
I haven't done groomsman gifts.
Before we get into the bunch of the nonsense stuff in this stream, next month is the Predator. Not the Predator. No, Predator. Got to be clear.
Not to catch a predator.
Not that one either, but Predator. It's a novel by Paul Monette.
Yeah. It's a weird one. You guys are forewarned. It's a strange read.
Now, did Teach do this one on his channel?
Yes.
So this one is also available on the YouTube channel Teach. Go listen to it. That's how I'm going to do it.
Really good job.
Listen.
And it all works out because a few months ago when we were talking about like what we were wanting to do for the next season, Jeremy was like, "Can we please do a season where most of our discussions are Arnold Schwarzenegger movies?" and I told him like only if Batman and Robin is included in the mix.
I mean, when else were we going to talk about Batman and Robin?
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to do an Arnold themed season, right? Just did half of it here in the summer.
Yeah, we haven't done Conan.
No, we haven't. That actually got a reprint.
Yes, I saw that. It very recently. That's because they're doing a whole bunch. We can get into it now that we're like done with the discussion, but a lot of the Conan stuff So you guys know Marvel can't publish new Conan comics anymore. They lost the rights, but they can publish their own stuff, like republish their stuff from like the 70s. It's weird. But Titan Books, or it's like Titan Publishing, has the rights to Conan, and they're doing a timeline so that things don't contradict anymore. Which is like, I'm like, finally, someone else is doing this other than the pre-Disney Star Wars. But they're reprinting a lot of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a bunch of the Robert Jordan Conan stuff, which he wrote the second novelization. Seeing that stuff get reprinted.
I didn't know Robert Jordan did a novelization.
He wrote a bunch of Conan in the 80s.
I know that.
He wrote Conan the Destroyer. Yeah.
That's cool. I wanted to comment on this one that Country Shape Media says, have you noticed that every time a T-800 is on screen in the future, their head is slightly tilted, making them look like they are glaring at everything with hate despite not having emotions? Yeah, I think it was a cool choice to do. I mean, it makes them look more menacing.
Yeah. And also, the special effects in Terminator 2 with the future, so much better than the first one.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like in your face better, and I'm like all for it.
Yeah.
So, I got a question about, do they ever explain why the Terminator always, like, the inspiration behind like why it always looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like, was there like a person that Skynet was like, we want this guy?
It's a deleted scene in Terminator 3.
Okay.
It's is it?
Yes.
Okay,
and
I'll have to check that out.
It's Arnold, and it's probably the funniest. We could just bring it up here.
Well, I just want to say this real quick before I forget, but I know in Salvation, I think that was the first time I remember seeing like a CGI.
Yeah, because he was governor and he couldn't be in the movie because he got in trouble for being in the Expendables. Even though he didn't get paid, everyone got butthurt in California, in the California Senate about it.
Okay. Yeah, but if I recall correctly, I think you see like the Arnold look-alike CGI body like on hooks, like, and then I think they activate him or something. I'll have to revisit some of these films.
And he's naked, and he just okay. So, do you want me to? Can I share my screen like this here?
It's like.
Is there a way to share screen? Because I'm going to throw.
Tell me when you're ready for me to share it. We'll comment on. Adam is waiting on Zardaw's novelization with plenty of scanty cloud Sean Connery photos in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm somewhat surprised Jeremy is not making us wear that as our groomsmen suits.
Oh, Gabby wouldn't allow it.
It's California. Why not?
I know. That's how I feel. I'm ready. Reshare this deleted scene. What is the? Wait, hold on. Hold that thought.
Take it off.
I don't like that one. We'll go. There we go. Okay.
I see two of them. I see two of them in there now.
That's
in the stage. Can you exit? Okay, I see one that just popped up with a thumbnail. Is that the one?
Yeah, this one here.
Okay, I see it too.
Okay, it's about to play, I think.
Cyber Research Systems present a preview of our upcoming product line. Say hello to the Soldier of Tomorrow, the T1 Battlefield Robot, a fully autonomous ground defensive system.
I forgot how awful the CG looks in this movie.
And in the air, the Hunter-Killer aerial weapons platform. This isn't science fiction, it's reality. Thanks to our top-secret innovation, Skynet, the revolutionary artificially intelligent battlefield management network. From intercontinental missiles to the individual soldier in the field, Skynet is able to control.
Sorry I'm late, gentlemen.
Just got started, Bob. Take a seat.
It's okay. I'll proceed.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. right here with the technology developed at CRS.
You do know the patents were obtained from a private vendor, Cyberdyne?
Cyberdyne? It's ancient history.
Using designs generated by Skynet, we need no longer risk the well-being of our men and women in uniform. Robots will take their place on the front line.
What is this from?
Terminator 3.
Hi, I'm Chief Master Sergeant William Candy. I was honored to be selected by CRS in the ongoing effort to save American lives.
I don't know about that accent.
We can fix it.
Oh my gosh.
It is now within our power to make war safe, and that is truly priceless. CRS brings you the face of the future. Ooh, it's me.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Stop.
I don't remember. That's from T3.
It's a deleted scene from
Okay.
Terminator 3 that
Okay.
because it's just so stupid. They just cut it out of that.
That's
movie.
really funny.
Small Time Republic says that accent makes Arnold's last name more uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I just now got this small time. So I guess we were talking about Arnold novelizations, Junior, the novelization. You guys remember that movie?
Oh, I
Junior?
like to not remember that movie. The movie's
Is that the one where he
terrible.
gets? Is that the one where he gets pregnant?
Yes, it's the
Yeah.
weird sequel to Twins that isn't a sequel to Twins.
That's so bizarre. That's
Yeah,
bizarre.
Twins. That's a good movie.
Aren't they supposed to be doing a sequel? Or they talked about it, but it just never happened.
I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't think is allowed to make theatrically released movies anymore because they keep bombing. Because they won't make the King Conan movie anymore.
Like, why doesn't he just go back into making comedy? Kind of like that,
Arnold?
like that. You know, in the '90s, remember that there's like that time period where he was just doing.
That was a desperation thing, is why he did comedy. Because Stallone also did comedy.
Or even
Is
like
that-
movies like Kindergarten Cop. That was a good one.
The only one that I watched was Jingle All the Way.
I
which
love
is
that
awful.
one.
That's an awful.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it. I love that one.
I mean, it's Jake Lloyd is absolutely adorable in that movie.
I agree with Small Time. I still want triplets with Arnold DeVito and Eddie Murphy.
Well, hey, Eddie Murphy would probably do it. They got a Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I did like at the Oscars where Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger were talking. It was just like, you know what we have in common? We both got our butts kicked by Batman. And then they find Michael Keaton out in the crowd. They're like, oh, and there he is, you son of a, And then Michael Keaton's like, it was great.
Yeah, Twins
Twins
is
is hilarious.
probably, in my opinion, the best of his comedy stuff.
Is that why they made that joke in the Simpsons movie with when Arnold Schwarzenegger was president, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back to doing family comedies, and it shows a picture of him as like it was like he played a genie in a diaper genie movie or something. But
Is that like a weird Kazam reference to when Shaq was a genie?
probably.
Oh man.
That's a way back one for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
When someone decided Shaq needed to be an actor.
What about
I don't know which is worse, Kazam or oh god, what was his DC superhero movie?
Steel.
Where he's clearly in a rubber suit, not a steel suit.
See, this is a moment where that Mandela effect is taking place right now in my brain. I'm thinking of Shazam with the comedian. What is his name? Crap. I saw him live too. The actor, Sinbad.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You know that there's like a Mandela effect thing. It's like apparently it doesn't exist when Shazam was a genie.
no.
Like I could have swore I saw it because when you were talking about Kazam, it's like, oh yeah, I think you're talking about Shazam with Sinbad.
No. There's a movie where Shaq was a genie, and
Yeah.
it's awful. Shaq can't act.
No.
Like, he cannot act. But that was like the thing in the 90s, was to put basketball people in movies.
Space Jam.
That's both the best example and the worst example.
I saw a meme about Shaq like yesterday. It was like Shaq could never sign a letter, love Shaq,
Oh,
because of the song.
My parents' wedding song.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't do it. Arnold and Twins was essentially Clark Superman without being bulletproof or flying.
Yep, that was the point. Well, hot take: Space Jam is one of the worst kids movies ever made.
I still like it.
I don't. Well, here's my thing. I'm gonna get into why I don't like Space Jam. I've never liked this movie. I saw it when I was little, and I loved the Looney Tunes, but I could tell right away that they weren't voiced by the same people, because those people had all pretty much died by that.
Yeah.
So it sounds off. Michael Jordan clearly doesn't want to be there. He's just doing it because he got in trouble for that whole gambling thing. Like,
don't ruin my childhood.
He's playing baseball. Remember when he tried to play baseball?
Baseball, yeah.
He got that trouble, and he switched to playing baseball when he wasn't good at it.
Wasn't there another athlete that did the same thing? What was his name?
Several. But it's just bad. Lola Bunny is clearly weird fan service and not a character at all. It doesn't add anything other than gives Bugs a boner. Like, that's her whole purpose. As Doug Walker said, the Nostalgia Critic said, she's got like bunny tits. It's just weird. It's just weird. Whereas, like, I don't know if you guys watch like the modern Looney Tunes stuff at all.
No.
It's genuinely, some of it's really funny. Like, she's just a psychopath.
Yeah, doesn't she run over Bugs Bunny at one point?
Yeah.
I've seen that scene. She's just like driving. She's like, "Hey, Bugs, I see a guy that looks like you. I'm about to run him over."
She's just crazy, and I love that. She's a nothing character. The antagonists are just weird and not very funny. The music's like probably the only thing worth watching the movie for. It's a pretty solid soundtrack.
Yeah.
But like, the thing is, like, I wouldn't be so harsh on it if Who Framed Roger Rabbit didn't exist, where it was just about everyone was still alive. I mean, those people were old as hell.
Yeah.
They were still like voicing the character.
That's a movie I would like to watch again. Isn't it dark? It's dark, right?
Yeah.
It's not as dark as the novel it's based on, which is called Who Censored Roger Rabbit.
Did not know it was based on a novel.
Yeah, it's a very different, weirder. The movie's better than the novel. It's one of those few cases where that's the thing.
I was gonna say, Small Time, he was in the movie because we needed that awkward golf scene where he's just like looking at the ball. He's like, "You are my friend. I'm sending you home. You are leaving." You know, and he just, do you not remember that? He's like, they're all playing golf, and Bill Murray has like an umbrella hat on for some reason, and he's like talking to the golf ball. And he's just like, "You are my friend. You are leaving," and then he just hits the ball, and he's just like standing there staring at it for like 45 seconds.
Now, I know that it was like a year or two ago when Space Jam was on Netflix. I was like, "Oh, Space Jam, that was awesome!" And I put it on for the kids. And for like 5 minutes, I sat there, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Yeah.
So it was different when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, you were the right age. I was like, I just have never liked it, and like, people get really, really mad at me when I say I don't like it. Like, they get irrationally mad at me. It's
Really?
like, It's like how when you said you didn't like Force Awakens back in the day, everyone got butthurt.
Yeah.
It's like that. They get or the worst, the absolute worst thing to say you do not like is the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Never
Never
heard of
seen
it.
it.
That's a good thing. It's made by a crazy narcissistic person with pedo tendencies.
You talking about Dave Filoni?
A worse.
What?
There's underage nudity.
Ugh.
It's nasty. It's nasty. The main character is like a whiny crybaby, and
It
like
sounds like
everyone's.
Dave.
Oh god, do you guys like when I send you the Dave Filoni things where he just
Yeah.
acts like a weird talentless hack?
Yeah.
He's
I tried to
just-
bring Plo Koon back, but George said no.
just fuck
We saw him
off.
blow up and die.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that.
I was gonna say this about Space Jam. That's the only movie I saw the commentary for. You know how like whenever you watch the movie, they have like
Yeah.
because they said that it was going to be narrated by Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, which was somewhat true. It was by the director and the producer, and Bugs and Daffy like chimed in every now and then. I was like, man, I wanted them to narrate the whole movie. That would have been probably
Yeah.
But I remember the PlayStation game of Space Jam was a lot of fun.
I didn't know that existed.
But there's something else I was gonna say. I forgot. So
How do we get talking about Space Jam? What is this?
we were talking about Shaq, and we were talking about
That's right.
bad '90s movies and how
Yeah,
basketball
with
basketball players.
What's the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where he teams up with the double team?
Who's in that one?
Oh God, who is in that one?
Sounds familiar. It's not like Hulk Hogan, is it?
No, it's a basketball player. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme and a basketball
Dennis Rodman?
player. Yes, it's Dennis Rodman.
I think I remember the poster.
And I think it's Mickey Rourke's the villain. That's a wacky movie. Not to be mistaken with Double Impact, which is
I watched
Van
this.
Damme's.
I watched this in 2020.
Yeah, because it was on streaming. It's a bad movie. But
Yeah, it
it's
was.
kind of a funny bad movie.
Was Mickey Rourke like in Iron Man 2?
Yes, he's Whiplash.
Yeah, he was like, I want my board. You know, that's like the thing that made him famous about that movie.
That was when everyone realized that he doesn't look like a human anymore.
Yeah. Just keeps
That
making
and
it worse.
Expendables. He's in that first Expendables movie where he's like clearly really drunk, and he just sits.
I was gonna ask. You brought up something, Jeremy. I thought it'd be kind of a fun topic. Movies that people got upset that we either haven't seen or didn't like. Which one was y'all's? And I think Jeremy, you already mentioned yours. Space Jam.
That's one of them. Yeah.
For me,
Are you saying ones that you watched
don't like, and because you don't like it, people get ass mad about it.
either you don't like or that you haven't seen.
Okay.
And they get ass mad about it.
I gotta think about it.
I remember for me it was both the Lord of the Rings movies and the Harry Potter movies. There was like a good while I did not watch those, and it wasn't that I hated the franchise, I just wasn't interested. And whenever me and my wife started dating, she was like, yeah, no, if you want, this relationship to continue, you're gonna watch those movies. I'm like, okay, fine. In all fairness, she watched some of the movies that I liked that she probably wouldn't be interested in. But there was one time where I haven't seen The Godfather.
Oh,
and
yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, being in a college class with a theater class in college, that'll get you some weird looks, and it did for me.
I can see that.
I did watch it. It's a great movie, though.
And I can't think of one. I I'm sure there's a lot of movies still out there that are incredible that I have not watched. I know one that like I always want. Okay, here it is. One that I have not yet seen, Die Hard.
Really? It's like
Have
one of the
not
best
seen Die
action
Hard.
movies ever.
I haven't seen it either. I've seen one of them, just not the first
See,
one.
maybe we need to do a
Yeah.
watch along.
You just need to watch the first one and the third one. The rest are very skippable. In fact, the fifth one's barely a movie, in my opinion. It's got a tie to Terminator Genesis. The guy they recast to play Kyle Reese is Bruce Willis's son in the fifth one, and he can't act. He can't act at all. He's terrible. He should be in Sci-Fi Channel movies.
For those of you in the comments, feel free to chime in too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let us know what movies this applies to you. It took me forever to see Top Gun,
Eh.
and then I thought that was awesome, except for the volleyball scene, of course.
The volleyball scene.
I could do without that.
What are you talking about?
I have it on repeat. No.
That
Cool
playing
movie.
with the boys.
I want to see the second one. I guess.
It's
it was
fine.
good.
I mean, it's got Miles Teller in it, so you have to take points away. I hate his face. I know that's mean of me to say, but I genuinely do not like that man's face. Not as much as I don't like Jake Paul's face. I don't want to hit Miles Teller's face. Jake Paul's, I just want to slap him.
Slap him. So, like what Country Shape Media says, what about the reverse? When you like a movie but get attacked for liking it when everyone else hates it?
That's a good one too. Yeah.
I don't think I have one.
Here's
mean,
one from Small Time, Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
He gets mad at people. He admits
is
he
that
gets
is
mad.
that the original or the remake?
He's probably talking about the remake.
I got one that I think applies to all three of us.
Hmm.
The 90s Godzilla.
I'm indifferent to that movie.
I mean, I like it. I love it.
I
if you
don't
hate
love
it,
it.
If you hate it, I hate you.
I don't hate it either. It
Just
just
kidding, just kidding.
exists. There are worse Roland Emmerich movies by far. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I can't sit through 2012. Like I cannot do that to myself. I cannot
sit through that one twice.
Stargate because Stargate is the most unbearably boring movie that he's ever directed.
He did Stargate.
Yeah, the movie.
That was based off of a TV show, right?
No, the TV show's a spin-off of the movie.
Okay. There is a novelization for that, right?
The TV show, yeah, there's a novelization for the movie, I'm pretty sure. The TV show, I think it's better than the movie. Original, yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. Roadhouse is one of those movies my grandma, of all people, would watch all the time. And, like, I've seen it quite a bit. Because she has this, like, she had, like, her celebrity crush was Sam Elliott. And so she would watch up to when he leaves the film and then, like, stop watching. So yeah, I've seen that quite a bit. No, the remake of Roadhouse is almost unwatchable. I don't know who decided Conor McGregor could be in movies.
Is he in this Roadhouse movie?
He's the villain. He's like the main villain.
I watched this movie for the first time. I think it was in 2020 as well. And
oh no, that's the original. No, I was
the
talking
original
the remake.
Right.
The remake that came out this year, which
What's
is
the
like
dude?
the most shocking tax write-off I've ever seen.
Really? What was the guy? Sam Elliott. He was in it, right? He was like
he's the
main guy's
mentor
buddy.
to Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze, who actually could kind of fight. And then it had the actual band with the singer who played the guitar and he was blind. And he played the slide guitar. You remember that? It's got some great music.
Sorry, I just read Country Shape Media's comment. I 100% agree with that. I was thinking that myself the other day. He says he liked Godzilla as a monster movie, but not as a Godzilla movie. It's better when you think of it as adaptation of The Beast from 20,000 Phantoms, which I have seen.
Yeah.
And which was actually a giant lizard. It wasn't like Godzilla. So, yes, 100% agree. I was going to say that I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wonder if it was originally a remake script for that, and then they just threw the Godzilla name on it.
I actually watched something. It was always intended to be a Godzilla film. The reason why it was different is because Roland Emmerich wasn't a Godzilla fan. And the only reason that from what I heard, the only reason that he did it is that he said he'll do it if he's allowed to put his own take on it.
Okay. It's not the worst remake of a horror movie or monster movie I've seen.
At least they didn't try to say oh, we just wanted to make it a more grounded approach. I'm like, there's nothing grounded about a.
Oh, you mean Godzilla 2014? Ambium the movie? That's another guy whose face I can't stand. The Kick-Ass guy.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, I don't like him.
No idea. I guess I'm lucky.
He was Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
He's Kraven the Hunter now coming up.
Every time you bring up this movie, Adam, I just want to throw up. Why?
I want to comment on small time. There are certain things I've come around on. As a kid, I hated Walker, Texas Ranger. Thought it was corny. Now I appreciate it for what it was. I brought that up to my wife today. I said, I've never seen Walker, Texas Ranger. She's like, I used to watch it when I was a kid. I want to watch it.
It's fun.
Because
I was not allowed to watch it when I was a kid. and so I watched it anyway.
Is it just because there's fighting or something?
No, it's because Chuck Norris is in it. My mom doesn't like watching Chuck Norris. My mom has the most bizarre taste in things. It's kind of shocking at times because she'll pop off with some stuff like, oh, Adam Sandler movies are so awful, and then I catch her watching Pixels, like one of the worst ones, and she's like, this is really funny. But like, God forbid I put on Happy Gilmore, the socially acceptable Adam Sandler movie to watch.
Right.
That's a bridge too far. But like, what the? I don't get it. My parents have the weirdest taste in things. I think they got what I call Hallmark brain. When you watch too many things on the Hallmark channel, it genuinely rots the entertainment portion of your brain, and you just accept garbage. Like people say that happens when you watch South Park. It's watching the Hallmark mysteries, where it's just a bunch of white women walking around solving mysteries and hitting men in the face with shovels, and no damage happens. You ever seen someone get hit with a shovel in real life?
I'm sure it's brutal.
It's nasty. I can tell you firsthand. It's bad. It's up there with I once saw these two kids fight in the computer lab in high school, and one of them grabbed one of the magic keyboards, the metal ones from a Macintosh, and hit the kid 3 times over the head, ripped his forehead open and stuff. It was nasty, and the keyboard still worked.
I was actually watching.
Back when Steve Jobs was still around, they made good products. Yeah,
I was watching this video of doctors diagnose the injuries from Home Alone, and I'll have to see it. I want to say I think they brought up the shovel thing whenever the old man Marley hits the wet bandits in the head with the shovel. They were like, that actually probably would have killed them.
Oh.
He's like, he's a murderer. His brother was right,
The paint can would have killed them.
Yeah. Because, they explain how it would have.
I like that. There's a video out there that it does a kill count for every time they get hit. It's pretty funny.
Well, in the second one, just getting a hit in the head from a brick from 5 stories up would have killed them. End of the movie right there.
Well, which one? Which one of the two is the one where he gets electrocuted and you
The
see his
second one.
skeleton? It's the second
Yeah.
one.
I love that scene.
I that is the funniest thing in any Home Alone movie. It's so cartoonish, and like I don't mind that in Home Alone because it's a comedy. But the Hallmark movies, they play it straight, and everything's purple. For some reason, Hallmark has decided that there has to be weird flower arrangements and wreaths everywhere, and the protagonists have to wear purple.
That is strange.
It's bizarre, and they're just dumb. I can't describe how much brain rot happens when you sit. What's worse, the Hallmark Christmas movies.
I refuse to watch those.
Oh, my mother-in-law. So my mom watches the Hallmark mysteries. My dad sits with her and they watch them together. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, they watch the Hallmark Christmas. They do the Christmas in July, and it copy paste. It may be the same movie over and over again. You can't tell. It's like the same script.
We need to create. Okay, we have paper movies. We have the Novelization Book Club. Let's make another YouTube channel, another podcast, the Hallmark Fan Club channel, where we review every Hallmark Christmas movie.
No.
All year round.
No.
Why?
I can't do it.
Country Shape Media will definitely be a subscriber over there, right?
I can't. You can rot your brain doing that. I'd rather watch Zardoz.
Okay. Whatever, dude. We're missing the boat on this one.
Movie. That's fine with me. That's a boat that will lead to early onset dementia.
It'll lead right to an iceberg.
I was going to mention this earlier. I think the film that I like that I've probably gotten weird looks for, and I don't care. I still like it. I know it's not the best movie, but it's Van Helsing.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I think it's fun. Fun. I mean, it's way over the top. It's campy, but it's fun. I like it.
I mean, Zardoz, which is the greatest film ever made. People look at me weird when I watch Veronica, Glenn Danzig's first movie, where he just hired a bunch of porn actors and tried to get them to do French accents, and it's like a bunch of horror vignettes, and they're all terrible. And
Mad Machad in the house.
Hey, what's up, Mad Machad?
But yeah, no, there's a scene where a guy gets his eyes ripped out, and he just says, "Ah, my eyes." It makes me when Veronica.
I thought that was the Nicolas Cage movie, the Wicker Man.
No, that's not The Bees.
Oh, that's right.
Not The Bees. That's a good one. Wicker Man, the remake of Wicker Man, specifically the director's cut, because the Not the Bees scene is not in the theatrical cut. That's one of those movies, like. What's that?
One of the movies that I like that I know is trash that a lot of people hate is Biodome with Pauly Shore.
Oh, I hate that.
I love that movie.
Why?
I just do.
I mean, I get liking Encino Man.
I mean, like, I can't remember if they belch or they fart, and they're like the other one's like, and he's like peanut butter and jelly Cheetos, and like he like names off what the guy had for lunch. It's just so stupid.
Well, I can't say. Funny. I love Freddy Got Fingered.
Okay.
The Tom Green movie. I unironically love that movie. That movie's secretly genius. It's not even because of Tom Green. It's because of Rip Torn.
Isn't that the one that didn't Red Letter Media do a big thing about that, of how that was actually just like a big joke? Like,
yeah.
He was like showing everybody, like, I made this movie. I got all of this money to do nothing with.
Yeah, he makes a joke in the movie about the budget of the movie, and he's like, and I bought the jewels, and he goes on about the jewels. But it's also the same movie where he wears a deer carcass, or the birthing scene when he helps the woman give birth, and he's swinging the baby around by the umbilical cord.
It's so stupid.
Is
The
that
DGG?
is that the
OG?
new one? The new trilogy?
What is DGG?
I don't know. I think he's meaning the recent movies,
Halloween Kills,
2018.
Halloween Ends, or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't
give
get
you
that last novelization.
we did a review for the
2018 and the
2018
original.
Yeah.
and the original, and then I did single cuts of most of them except for Halloween Ends because the audiobook was so bad I returned it without finishing the first chapter. It was a woman who had a lisp, like had just gotten a tongue piercing, or sounded like Obi-Wan does in the Clone Wars game from 2002. Anakin, we must go to the planet of Renvar. That's how he talks. That's how the Obi-Wan actor talks.
Huh.
I mean, it's probably better than the Anakin actor for the PS2 Revenge of the Sith, where he goes, "You underestimate the power of the dark side." That's how he sounded.
That's the guy who voices him in
No
Genndy
way.
Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to go into like the CGI Clone Wars. Like,
Oh, TCW. No. What's weird is that guy sounds nothing like Hayden Christensen
no.
and doesn't try. And
I need to
for
rewatch
some
those.
reason, like I like it a little better.
I need to rewatch those. Small Time said he recently watched Halloween 3.
That's a good movie.
Isn't that the Season of the Witch?
Yes.
I have never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen Halloween 2. I only saw the
It's a
first one.
ripoff of Friday the 13th.
Really? That's bizarre.
Yeah, it's just the first movie in a hospital with more gore. It's very bland. It's a very bland movie. Halloween 3 is weirdly creative. Halloween 4, I think, is the quintessential Halloween sequel with little Jamie. Little Jamie, Laurie Strode's daughter, is the main character. And then Halloween 5 sucks. Some of the most unlikable characters ever put in a movie. Halloween 6 is just confusion because there's two cuts to that movie and neither of them makes sense. Halloween H2O is fine.
I saw that in theater when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's a fine movie. I really like LL Cool J in that movie. I like his character. He's fun, and he's trying to make this romance. He's trying to write his romance novel. It's like a security guard. That's fun. Halloween Resurrection sucks.
Never saw it. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see. The Rob Zombie movies are shockingly bad.
I've only seen the first one.
The second one's actually has more unlikable characters because it's like Rob Zombie wanted to make an experiment of what if he made every single character in a movie an asshole and not interesting.
And Michael Myers actually talks, which I didn't like.
Does he talk in the first one when he's an adult?
He talks as a kid. He doesn't talk.
Well, yeah. He's the most unlikable child ever. It's the kid in Hancock that Hancock throws.
Oh yeah.
Because that kid doesn't show up in the second one. They recast him with a kid that can't act. For some weird, there's a bunch of weird dream stuff and Laurie Strode saying shit, and Michael Myers looks like Rob Zombie and he's walking around without a mask on. And then he stabs Loomis. He goes, "Die!" Stabs Loomis. And Malcolm McDowell's character, Loomis, is a giant a-hole that's exploiting the Myers so he can for his book, and he becomes a prima donna. It's just weird because at least he was likable in the first movie. He's not in the second. like he wasn't like the most likable. I prefer the Donald Pleasance Loomis.
You know, while I'm looking at it, I know I told you guys I introduced my wife to this movie.
How'd that go? I meant to ask you about this.
We thought it was, humorous. It was. I've only seen it once back when it first came out, and
Yeah.
I did not remember. But whenever we watched it again, I was like, okay, this is different. But she thought it was interesting and humorous, and after a few days, she said, "I don't have to sleep on the couch anymore." But but
How'd you like the sequel bait that for the movie that never was?
for Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
oh, like whenever she just pops into the room and she's like, I need your help" or something.
Yeah. This is the most bizarre sequel bait, and
It never goes anywhere.
no, and that's a good thing. Can you imagine Yoshi?
We're talking about the 90s Mario movie, Matthew.
Can you imagine what Yoshi would have looked like? Or the Goombas?
You need to watch the movie, Matthew.
Yeah, I'd like to.
I can let you borrow it.
Who plays Bowser in that?
Oh man.
Wasn't it the guy that played in Easy? No.
It's not Dustin Hoffman, is it?
The villain from Waterworld.
Yeah, and Turbo Kid. Oh God,
I'm looking it up now.
He passed away.
Dennis
right?
Hopper. Dennis Hopper.
it
There
is
you go.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah. Wasn't he also in Apocalypse Now?
Yes, he's
Like
the weird hippie photographer.
Yeah.
When they finally get there.
Yeah.
Oh, you have Quality Autism joining us.
Oh,
What?
Mr. I Quit YouTube.
Yeah. Big announcement there for Quality Autism to say. retired.
Oh, that is a cool thing, and I can't discuss that. Good.
Now we need
I
that.
see that you sent that to me.
Well,
sorry,
hope you're
I just dropped the F-bomb. It's something he and I have been discussing for a few weeks.
But hope you're doing well, Noah, and hope you're enjoying your time off.
He's fine. He's redoing the upstairs of his house.
Okay.
Reflooring it. Yeah. But what was I
Mama
saying?
Chad says that live action Yoshi is just a mini Godzilla.
It's a mini
Exactly.
Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah. You know what Dustin Hoffman was in? He's in a Steven Seagal movie where Steven Seagal played a bomb squad technician. And Dustin Hoffman, he basically redoes his role from Speed, but with an Irish accent because he's part of the IRA. And his Irish accent is horrific.
Okay, I got a question for you guys, since we're just kind of talking about random things. What is the most overacted part you have seen in a movie?
Oh,
Tough one.
I have to think.
Your camera kind of zoomed in on you as you were thinking. It was just like,
It might be, and it's someone who can't act, but he is overacting. It's Tommy Wiseau in Samurai Cop 2. Because he cranks up the Tommy Wiseau-ness to such a level that you can't understand what he's saying. That might be the worst. There's a lot of really bad performances I've seen in recent years in particular.
well, for me, it's not intended to be overacted. I think he was trying to be serious, which is sad because I actually do like the actor. It's Gary Oldman as Dracula.
Oh,
He's like, I am Dracula. I love you too much to condemn you to. It's like,
no. Well, that does remind me of Kenneth Branagh in the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He does a lot of overacting in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the worst overacting.
Noah says Dungeons and Dragons, Jeremy Irons.
Shit. Yeah, that's my answer.
Nick Small Time says Nick Cage in Face Off.
Yeah, but Jeremy Irons does this thing in Dungeons and Dragons where he goes and I don't know why it's in there.
I will say, Nick, the scene where in the second Ghost Rider movie where Nick Cage is trying to turn into the Ghost Rider, that was pretty out there. But
there's several Nick Cage moments in his movies that are just like weird. There's a movie where he thinks he's a vampire, but he may be a crazy person, and he actually ate a real cockroach.
ugh.
I can't remember what that movie's called, but I remember like being mortified.
I
He
can't
ate
think
a
of it.
bug.
I can't think of anything of it overacting, but I can think of some stuff like of just flat out horrible acting. And I think of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in the elevator when like Anakin comes through like the roof of the
Oh,
elevator.
and he does the lightsaber. He's like, oh.
And Kenobi's like, "Oh, it's you." Like it sounds like it's so bad.
Well, that's a cut down scene, so it's kind of funky.
Well,
There's
I think
more
it was.
to it.
I would think that they chose the wrong one. Like they chose the wrong take. He's like, "Oh, it's you."
Oh, it's like
Oh, hey,
in
master.
Kingdom
It's
of the Crystal Skull, the part-time.
Part-time.
Part-time. You're a teacher? Part-time.
Part-time.
Oh wait, I wouldn't say this is if it's over. This is like overacting that actually is great. Return of the Jedi, the Emperor. Oh, I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
I actually read a passage because I was talking to Joe Bongiorno, and he brings up in the novelization to Revenge of the Sith, the Emperor does a Yoda impression. And
yeah.
Yeah, it is so it sounds like it'd be bad, but it's actually kind of good. He's trying to figure out who trained Luke. He's like, I know Kenobi, your father dealt with him. Who trained you? There was one called Yoda. Alive, is he?
Mm.
And Luke doesn't say anything. He says, I thought not. There's like a lot of dialogue between the Emperor and Luke that's in that novelization that's not in the final cut of the film. And I think it exists, like they filmed it, and it exists somewhere in the Lucasfilm vault.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's like a bunch of, because George Lucas is notorious for just not releasing deleted scenes forever. And anytime they would re-release Star Wars, he would pepper in some more deleted scenes, like the big scenes in the original Star Wars. My favorite, Han Solo makes out with a random woman in the cantina, which is the dumbest scene.
Doesn't Luke become the Emperor in one deleted scene?
I don't know. I've not heard of that. There's the Wampa attack scenes from Empire Strikes Back.
Awful.
That's a wonderful.
No.
How he tries
That's a good one, yeah.
He pulls the gun out. Or I like in Halloween 2. I shot him 6 times. I shot him 6 times. Or he does a couple good weird overacting in Halloween 2. We usually fire a warning shot, right? And he fires a gun in a police car. But I shot him 6 times. Or he does a lot of crazy acting in Halloween 5 when the cookie woman scene. That's a heinous scene where Jamie's having like a weird psychotic like seizure because she can see through Michael Myers' eyes because of the cult of Thorn, which doesn't make any sense. But you know, that's Halloween 5 for you. And she's like, there's like another kid, and the kids are just acting like they're trying to poop, like they're really constipated. And like this one little girl, she's just flopping on the ground, and she starts saying cookie woman, and then like the other kids like sounded constipated and repeats that, and Donald Pleasance is like, cookie woman, what's cookie woman, like it's the weird, it's like the most embarrassing scene. There are certain scenes in movies that I can't watch because I just find them too embarrassing.
Are you
Like
that secondhand embarrassment?
Yeah, specifically in a lot of like badly written comedies where you can see I lied, I'm gonna get caught in the lie, and I go, I know this is happening, and I get up and walk away.
Yeah.
Or but yeah, the cookie woman scene's hard to sit through because it's so embarrassing.
I think one of the most awkward times seeing a movie was I introduced Kelsey, my wife, to an American Werewolf in London. And I actually really loved that movie. But
That's a good movie.
whenever I was introducing it to her, like this is around the time when we first started dating, I was just like, oh, wait. I forgot about the scene where they go to the adult movie theater.
Yeah.
Like, uh-oh. Just like, well, maybe she won't say, like, whenever like he walks in, like, oh, I forgot about this part. Like, she thought it was funny.
Well, it's not even in the TV edit.
Oh, it's not?
They completely cut that scene out. Because I saw it on TV first, and then I had the DVD, and I put the DVD in, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't remember this. It's like it's not as awkward as the adult theater scene in Taxi Driver, where he takes that woman on the date and he takes her to a porn movie because he's so socially removed that he doesn't understand, and like it's supposed to be an uncomfortable scene, but it's just it's so awkward.
See, I'm having a hard time recalling things. I just haven't really been watching movies lately. Things that are uncomfortable. I know that like the first movie that I remember seeing in theater, I think one of my uncles had taken me, and it was kind of awkward. Was like me and my cousins were, with my uncle.
Did your uncle take you to see Showgirls?
Species.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I remember like me and my cousins were just kind of like.
That was me seeing 300. I saw 300 in the theater. It's the first R-rated movie I saw. And I saw it with my dad, and I was like trying to cover my face. My dad's like, dude, I don't care.
I had a similar experience. Me and my dad went to go see the movie Open Water. Have you seen it, Matthew?
I don't like that movie.
I don't either. I'm glad somebody else doesn't, because that's another movie where people got mad at me because I hated it. I love shark attack films.
They're assholes. They're both the most unlikable characters, and it's so boring.
Here we go, small time Species. Oh
boy, I missed that.
Too.
But there was Open Water is about two divers that get stranded out in the middle of the ocean, and they're attacked by sharks. And the thing that kind of separates this from most shark attack movies is because they used real sharks.
And it's based on something that actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
But
there was. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're just fucking assholes. Sorry, I just swore. I can't.
Well, the uncomfortable part. I was like 14, 15 whenever I saw it, and there's like the scene where this lady's just laying in bed, and then it just kind of cuts out, and she shows her like laying full frontal naked on the bed, and I was like, oh, I was like, am I supposed to look this way? My dad's sitting right next to me, and then my dad at the end, I was just like, I didn't know about that scene, Dad. I was like, my dad was like, yeah, you're old enough.
It's funny.
That's
I
actually.
went
Go
ahead
ahead.
and changed red for Jeremy, like in honor of like Red Label.
Oh,
Oh
Because
yeah,
of his
my
Art
wordy
of material. Yeah.
as Matt Wilkins' wife says when I would swear, call Tristan
Yeah.
names and make fun of him.
see if I can try it. If I have the
Yeah.
remote for it.
Oh
I have
man,
like 3 different.
You know what's a bad movie? Pet Cemetery.
Wait, what?
That's a bad.
You don't like that one?
Oh, I
mean,
hate that movie.
It is kind of stupid, but
Well, the thing is, so that little boy is one of the best child actors I have ever seen. That little toddler is perfect. The old man, perfect.
There we go.
Little girl's
Munster.
fine. Denise, what was that? She was on Star Trek Next Generation. She got killed by the tar monster. She's okay, but that man, the dad, he is terrible. I'm reading the book right now, which I don't know how I feel about the book. There's way too much man bath, if I'm being completely honest.
man, what does that mean?
He takes baths.
In Pet Cemetery?
Yeah, there's like
Why
you
don't
don't
I
remember that in the
this?
movie? He
No.
draws himself a bath like several times. In fact, in the book, he gets a weird handy in the bath with a glove.
With a
That's a
glove?
weird drug Stephen King scene right there.
A glove in the bath?
Yeah, she has like a scrub glove, and he gets into it. She gives him a handy while giving him a bath, and I'm like, this is not attractive at all. I mean, I don't mean to kink shame. Maybe Stephen King's into that.
King shame?
It's like welcome to paper. It's like welcome to paper movies after hours.
But she's
After
like,
hours.
she gives him a handy. And like the whole, but in the movie, like there's a bunch of people online that think that this guy is just like the hottest, like just so hot, and I'm like, he looks like a doofus. He can't act. He's just terrible. But I mean, I don't like Pet Cemetery at all, like the original. I really hated the remake.
Me and my wife constantly make fun of Pet Cemetery because the I can't remember his name, Herman Munster actor. He the way he talks and everything, he's like he's like talking with a pipe in his mouth. He's like, "Don't go to Pet Cemetery."
Well, yeah, he talks in the New England accent, which is
don't go out there after dark.
And
go out there.
Sometimes dead is better.
Don't go at times dead is better. I love that movie though.
You should read the book. I think you get a lot more. Well,
I
don't know if you could read it as a father and not get upset. It's distressing. It's really, it's probably, it's a toss up because the Richard Bachman book Roadwork is also incredibly depressing. That's about a man who just he's going to lose his house and his place of employment because they're putting a freeway through the middle of their town, and he just starts going crazy, and he just self-sabotages his whole life to fight these people, and it's just it's just a character study. It's really sad. Pet Cemetery is what would you do if your child died? It's just horrible.
Would not turn him into a zombie, but I'm telling you, the creepiest thing that's always like been creepy to me was the sister.
Oh yeah.
Zelda. Like you see her spine.
She had spinal dystrophy.
Like just like that whole like when she runs, like the camera zooms into her, or she runs up to the camera and she's like, "You didn't help me." It's like, Stop.
And
And that's the only thing that's ever freaked me out in a movie.
that I just don't like how they portray that in the movie. That it doesn't make any sense.
Like
And
the way
then,
I don't get it either, but just like the way she looked and how she's like, "You didn't help me." It was like, ugh, it's so
you know,
gross.
they made a prequel to Pet Cemetery last year.
No,
No one
Like
saw it. It went straight to Paramount Plus.
straight to
The,
VHS.
The film inadvertently foreshadowed Joe Biden. Like the old man was just like, "This is my doing, and I have to undo it." And the next scene,
I'll tell you what, the most effective thing in that movie for me is when the old man gets his Achilles tendons cut. I cringe at that. It's so horrific.
I think I killed Matthew.
That's like when I ate the bread bowl. It's like all over again.
I'm still sad I wasn't there for that.
Oh gosh, that's so good.
Or when I drunkenly fell down.
Oh man, I remember that.
What happened to Jeremy?
There have been a couple streams of yours. You came out with like a public apology.
Oh yeah, well I got kind of blacklisted from the college I was going to because of that.
Gosh, sorry, it's not funny.
There were real life repercussions in my life for being a drunken buffoon online.
I did go back and watch the Bread Bowl stream though, and it was kind of gold because you guys were just sitting there all talking. All of a sudden, Jeremy, who never left, just suddenly
He's eating something.
he's just like he just goes. And
Yeah.
just like, where did that come from?
Yeah,
I had eaten my dinner up there right before the stream, and I didn't have time to clean up.
it was just like this realization that Jeremy was. He was like, "Wait a second, are you eating something?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, what is that? It's a bread bowl. Just had it sitting like next to his desk.
Yeah, I ate some clam chowder. I got clam chowder.
Yeah,
I ate all the chowder, but I hadn't finished the bowl.
I remember Dylan was like, "Excuse me, I'm gonna pull out my nice, lasagna here."
It's funny. It worked about. That's about to be like 4 years now on the 4th
Yeah.
of July. It was like
That was
a 4th of July special in 2020.
that's like that was me with the boomer. That was the other thing from that stream. He didn't survive the CG fire.
I had like I shaved my beard off. Like it had like a weird sideburns and a Bud Light hat.
Yeah, 'cause we were watching Independence Day.
Yeah, I threw that hat away.
Burn it?
I should have.
I want to say that was the very first stream that Noah joined. Was it the Independence Day one?
Yes. He didn't
Maybe.
have video yet, so we didn't know what he looked like.
Right. It said like a squid.
Yeah, it's Squidward.
Squidward, yeah.
I think we called him out. It was like, "Show your face, coward." He finally came online.
And then Matt Wilkins said he looked like he could be in a boy band. And typical weird Matt Wilkins things, he says. But yeah, no, the bathtub handy is a deeply strange thing. But that man takes all sorts of baths all the time. It's weird. Like, I just don't know adults that take baths. I guess that's just not... It's not a thing in my circles. Baths are gross. Can I go on a tangent about baths and how disgusting they are?
I think they're gross too.
They're sitting in your butt water.
Exactly.
Every once in a while, I will take a bath solely because my back is so jacked up.
But you take a shower afterwards, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you feel weird.
Yeah. Ball and butt water.
Yeah. I mean, nothing tops when I was a kid, when I was little, because like my sister and I, when you're a kid and your siblings and you have to take a shared bath so one of you doesn't drown. Like that's a thing. You guys can't tell me this didn't happen to you.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, when you're really small.
Yeah.
This is good. My sister's never gonna forgive me for this. So she was like sick to her stomach or something, and
Oh
like
no.
she had to be like 1, and I was like 4. So like we're in the bath, and she just evacuates her bowels in the bathtub, and I'll tell you what, I think I walked on water. I screamed and I flung myself out. And our bathtub was on. We lived in a house that had a loft. It was in the master bedroom, and I screamed and I ran down the stairs and I ran into my room. And my mom's like, "Where's Talia? Where's?" I said, "I don't care." She pooped, and so my parents ran up there.
It's a swamp up there.
And because they thought that she had drowned. And they like wrapped her in a blanket and stuff. And like my mom freaked out.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, no, she was a little kid, and I swear she took a dump like not even a human would take a dump. It was like a cow.
Like the scene from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, in the bath. And it was a sewer.
That's gross.
And it's not like you can just let that go down the drain, because that's going to clog it up.
Jeremy, I will voluntarily, if your sister gets married, I will voluntarily go and find the novelization of Zardoz if you tell that story at her wedding.
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna meet her. She's in in the wedding party.
I like Mad but Chad's here. Mud bath.
Yeah, it was. I just remember like a burble, and then. So bad. I'm freaking out just thinking about it. I literally never took a bath for the rest of. Like I said, I will take a shower. I don't even know how the shower works, but I will take a shower. I will not take a bath with her.
Like PTSD, like poo traumatic stress disorder.
That was terrible. I haven't thought about this.
Gosh, it's like was it like the Army of Darkness scene whenever the dungeon crushes and all the blood shoots out. It's just
I can imagine though after that, like Jeremy just like jumps out looking like the Tarman zombie from Return of the Living Dead.
No, it was. You guys ever seen Joe Dirt?
Yes. Yeah. Boom.
Yes, it was like that.
Oh gosh,
that's
so
not a nuclear bomb. That's a poo can.
I got the poo on me. Oh gosh, that's so funny. Gosh, it might be too much, but it's so funny.
Small time. Did you see what Small Time posted?
He used to be crap everywhere. Adam being Jerry's sister.
Oh,
just like yeah, I mean, she's gonna be like, "Where'd you hear that?" Like, "Oh, he said it to like hundreds of people on the internet."
I've heard of that bubble bath.
No, it was a dumpus bath.
A swamp bath. Oh gosh, it's so gross.
Yeah, it was. I lived it, man.
Did you guys hear the 90-year-old who was the dirtiest man on earth? He died right after he took a bath. Oh, wow. It sucks. That really sucks.
Have you seen oh god, did I tell you about the soft serve and why I can't eat soft serve?
Because
I really hope it's not related, but you know.
I mean, it's a similar theme thing, but it doesn't have to do with talent. My sister was She was in school. She was in kindergarten. I was in 4th grade. And like I had to this kid.
I think Matthew's about to have an aneurysm.
I am. This is too
this-
good.
So I had to pee really bad during reading hour. I really had to go. And this kid had been gone for like 30 minutes. And the teacher looks at me. And this is the 3rd time I'm raising my hand that I have to go to the bathroom. She's like, okay, Jeremy, you have to go find him, though. I said, that's fine by me. Because this is still at a point where I couldn't read well. So I needed a break from attempting to understand the English language. So I go in there. And this is what I tell a lot to my friends. Because I didn't like this kid. This kid, there's reasons that I won't get into on here, but I didn't like this kid. It was my friend's adopted brother. And this kid's just obnoxious and creepy and weird. And I go in there and piss, and I hear all this straining and splashing and stuff. And he's like, Jeremy, is that you? And I'm like, how did you know it was me?
He felt your presence.
I don't know how. To this day, I don't know. But he was going to the bathroom with the stall door open.
Oh.
And he bare cheeked it.
It's disgusting.
But that's not the worst part of it. It's not the worst part of it. He's like, I'm almost done. And I'm like, you need to go back and explain yourself to the teacher why you've been gone this long. And so he left. And I was like, he like runs out. And he doesn't wash his hands, which he was such a gross kid. I didn't expect that. But I could smell it. And it was like a septic line ruptured, which I actually have witnessed. That's a whole nother tale. But it was bad. It smelled like a porta potty after Sturgis. So, I'm a curious man. And I'm a curious boy. I'm like, okay, I got to see this. Because I didn't hear a flush. That was the other thing. There was no flush. And I'm like, so I go in the stall, and there's only one stall in this bathroom, and it's like a handicap stall, and the smell, it just assaults me. It's like getting punched in the nose with a turd. Like, it's just so bad. But so it's one of those, you know how a public toilet is in America, and it's like wider. It's like kind of long out a little bit, and like the toilet seat, it's not like a perfect circle like they are in like residential bathrooms. It's like the 2-prong things that you know what I'm talking about. So I see a turd hanging over out of the bowl. So I cover up like this, and I go and investigate. I look in. It is one turd. And it is wrapped around like if you got ice cream from Foster Freeze, the soft serve. It looks like that.
Look at 24-incher.
Yeah. It was bad. It was like a few feet of just wrapped around coiled turd. So,
oh gosh.
So, no, it gets worse. So I can't keep this to myself because it's feces, and I'm a 10-year-old. I got to tell everyone about this. So I go in, and I sneak over to one of my friends' desk, and I'm like, "You need to go to the bathroom, and you need to go look at the toilet."
Oh,
and so he goes to the bathroom, he goes to the toilet, and then he tells another kid, and then there's another kid, and then finally one kid's just like. He walks by my desk. He's like, I'm going to try to flush it. And he tried to flush it. And we heard him run back because he flooded the bathroom.
It's like, it's alive. It's alive.
And then
it reached out for me. Oh gosh. Like Madman Chad, bros, I'm a custodian at a theme park. Jeremy's giving me 4 flashbacks. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's like I had a friend in high school who liked to poop in drinking fountains.
Ew.
So
That's
like I
disgusting.
won't use a drinking fountain at a public school because dudes just piss in them.
That's
Like
gross.
that's a thing. Like they piss in the sinks, they piss in the drinking fountains. But I had a friend loosely. He's not my friend anymore because he's stupid. And like he liked to poop in drinking fountains.
That's gross.
And we used to make fun of him and say that he just wanted a bidet to wash.
You know,
his
it's
ass
funny. It's,
with.
after all this, like the next morning, my wife's gonna be like, she's like, so I take it Terminator 2 was a very funny novelization. Just
I heard
like,
you guys laughing all night.
it's like I heard you dying of laughter. It's just like, just don't ask. Just watch the stream.
Yeah.
No, knowing her, she's gonna be like, what did Jeremy say now?
He just assumes I'm terrible. I don't
No,
know
no.
why. I don't know why. Yeah.
No, she doesn't assume
Oh,
you're terrible.
gosh.
She's just heard some of the
No,
like
I have an
the-
upper decking story. I think you guys know this story though, because this is when I knew you guys. So I lived with a drug dealer for a little while, and he all he did was Adderall and Xanax, and he ate Popeye's chicken. That's all he did. So his stomach, and like he like ate 7-Eleven food and stuff, and like his
Ugh.
stomach was so messed up that in order for him to shit, he would do a line of coke. You could hear him go, and he and his buddies like, and he'd be like, "I need a shit." And he'd go in, and you hear him do a line, the bathroom. He'd take a shit, but he and his buddies, they just kept shitting in the toilet, and there was just a bunch of people that squatted there, and they clogged the toilet, and they just kept shitting in it and shitting in it until they filled up the toilet, and then they started upper decking it, and so the toilet was just full of feces.
That's disgusting.
And so then they broke the toilet, so the toilet had to be replaced. This wasn't my toilet. There were four of us that officially lived there. 2 guys shared one bathroom, the other 2. I had another roommate, and I shared my bathroom, and I had to put a lock on mine because I caught a dude jerking it in my shower. I said, "The hell are you doing? You don't even live here. Who are you?" Came in here to piss, and there's a dude getting on with his bad self in my shower. But like
That's crazy.
so they replaced the toilet. They do the same shit again, and they broke a second toilet. I think I have a video somewhere of it, of like the aftermath, because I think I sent it to you guys.
Aftermath. They wind-digged it.
Yeah, they wind-digged it hard. They might have Pablo Hidalgo did.
Oh.
So, as you guys know, I used to work in a security job, and there was this building that we were renovating. So we still had to go in and check it and make sure that, you know, everything, all the doors were locked, you know, everything. And my job, we always had to check restrooms, you know. So there was this before they, I'm not sure if this was like right before they closed this building down, or maybe like one of the construction workers just used it, but someone used it right before the building closed and never flushed.
Oh no! So it's been like brewing.
Yeah, for months.
Ugh.
And I'll nobody wanted to flush it, and I would just it was smelled terrible, and I walked in there just like, oh man. So eventually, like, I couldn't take it anymore. Like, it got so bad. I walked into that hall and I found a dead mouse outside of the bathroom. So I was just like, I walked in and I was like, I'm gonna pandemic it and stay 6 feet apart. But like, I reached my foot and like right over and I put my boot on the toilet and I flushed it that way. And then I, like hauled it out of there as fast as I could. And like, it's like, that was like my, like, they don't pay me enough for this job moment. And it was fine after that, but like for months, yeah, I needed a hazmat suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for
And
months,
a pay raise.
like for months, nobody flushed it. And we had like overnight crew go in. Nobody, just like, there was just like, I'm assuming it's just like, it's empty, like, because, and I don't blame them, because like I walked in and I just wanted to get out of there, and I was just like, eventually I was like, you know what, I just flushed it, and it was
Did it go down?
It did.
Well, that's probably because it's probably softened up being in the water so long.
So it's just like, after that much contamination, how are you still alive? My immunities must be.
Did you catch some people doing the nasty at that job?
Once. I'm let me rephrase. I'm assuming so. There was.
You didn't see penetration.
There was evidence of things. I'm not going to say where I worked, but I'm just going to say there was a part where I had to. There was a part of where I worked. There was like a little lake, and we had to like patrol around that area, and there was a tent, and this wasn't it was private property. I mean, you could hang out in that area throughout the day, but it closed at a certain time. So I found a tent, and I let's just say there was suspicions. So I was just like, I announced I said, security, and like I saw the window of that tent. How like some tents have like that little
the
window,
the zipper. Yeah,
I saw that thing go that fast, and they're like, oh, like, we're just hanging out. I was just like, you guys need to leave. And so we told them, like, you guys, this is private property. You guys need to leave. And so they were nice about it, and they left. But that like I said, I don't want to talk about like or mention like where I worked and everything.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Privacy reasons, but
yeah.
But,
I mean, I told you guys about the pool incident, right?
Mm-mm.
Same apartment that the drug dealer lived at. We had like a communal pool. It's pretty standard for California apartments. And one night I went to get the mail because the mailboxes were across the complex from where we lived. We lived in the back. They were over by the front. I went and got the mail, and I used to do a circuit of the whole apartment just to see if the bums got in the trash or not. Tell them to leave. I used to tell them to leave, and then eventually I just stopped caring. Because it was a gated complex. It just wasn't gated in the daytime. Like, the gates were open. So I'm coming back, and I hear what sounds like someone watching some adult entertainment with the windows open. And I'm like, really? We're gonna watch that this loud so the neighbors can hear? No, there's two college kids in the pool. doing the deed. And I'm just walking by. I'm like, you're gonna want to check your pH levels because that's gonna wreck you, girl. Because it's really easy to get an infection, especially because that's chlorinated.
Mhm.
Ugh, that's nasty. Don't do that.
I feel like after this stream, we're going to be deciding, okay, which part are we going to keep? Which part are we going to cut?
What part of this is going to end up being a backpedalers podcast of this, right?
Yeah. Like Mad Chad says, how much of the stream was dedicated to Terminator 2 and the poop stories at this point? I think the first 30 minutes were the Terminator 2.
I was going to say the first 10.
Yeah.
First 10. Yeah,
It
maybe.
was a relatively short review.
This is why
was.
this is why it's called Terminator number 2.
Number 2.
Terminator Poo.
Terminator Poo. Ooh.
The last Judgment Day.
Dude, that's just the bathroom at Six Flags.
Did you guys ever see the Terminator 2 show?
Yeah, I got to see it. Oh, when I was a kid.
That's Universal Studios, right?
Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I saw that.
Like part of it. I mean, part of it's actually they brought the actors back.
Do they
Cameron
still do
directed
it?
I don't know. I don't know if they still do
I
it.
remember, like in college, I went and I saw it.
They were
So-
doing it in the late 2000s.
Yeah, that's
Mid to late.
That's
I
when I
saw it
would've
in
gone and saw it.
06. Yeah. That's when I went to Universal. The one time I went to Universal Studios.
in 06.
Yeah. 05 or 06. No, it was 05.
Okay.
Because I went to Out of This World Comics at Universal City Walk and I bought a bunch of Star Wars, out of print Star Wars trade paperbacks.
Okay.
And I was really,
Interesting.
really excited to get those because I couldn't find them anywhere. It was before the Marvel, it's before the Dark Horse omnibuses were a thing. But yeah, that was weird times.
This is a fun stream.
Yeah.
This is
Kind of.
You got any more movie questions?
yeah.
Best
How's
poos-
Darth Maul poop?
Best poo scene in a movie? Dumb and Dumber?
Dumb and Dumber. Yeah.
Oh, Harold and Kumar, the battle shits. Do you remember that? Have you ever seen Harold and Kumar?
I have
it's
not.
Eat at White Castle's the first one. They're stupid movies, but there's these two like really attractive women, and like Harold and Kumar drop their weed in the toilet, so they're trying to get the weed out of the toilet, and they're in the stall in between these two women, and they're like, "Let's play battle shits," and they're just like trying to out poop each other. It's terrible.
Kind of reminds me of that.
Or oh, go on.
I was like, from what you were saying, like, kind of reminds me of that scene from Family Guy where Peter Griffin gets into a farting battle with Michael Moore. And it's
gosh, that was a
and
long time ago.
And it's playing dueling banjos.
Have you guys seen In-Betweeners?
Mm-mm.
I want to say yes.
Yeah, In-Betweeners 2, the second movie. The poo down the water slide.
Oh,
That might be a horror movie scene.
the Blob.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other questions that you're coming up with some good ones earlier, Adam.
Before I started shit talking. Is that right? Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
What were we on? We were like, what's a movie? Someone asked,
What's a movie?
What's a
what is a movie?
What's a movie that you love and you don't care that everybody else hates or something? Or people.
There's a few so bad it's good movies.
You know what I think would be fun? I'm sorry to we need to make a video. Like someone needs to go back and look at all of our streams throughout the years and find all the segments where we said something that just like made the other completely like die laughing.
Lose it.
Yeah.
Oh, when I referred to Pierce Brosnan as sounding like he gargled Jack Daniels and rusty nails.
Yeah.
I think that's the one time I've ever broken you, Adam.
Well, I remember I was drinking like a Brahms soda or something like that, and then also I was like, I remember I got Matt Wilkins. I had like a dinosaur that roared, and I would just like pop it up randomly throughout the stream, and it killed him each time.
I remember that. I remember.
Any novelizations you guys collected recently?
No, I was just saying I haven't bought one in a hot minute.
I mean, I picked up like Quality Autism brought it up. Dungeons and Dragons.
Mhm.
I have that novelization.
I got that too, but it's been a few months.
Oh, Matt.
I'll see if I can. I'm gonna go grab something. Let's see if the camera can follow me. I'm gonna roll back in my chair.
Ugh. What's that? Brother,
Brother,
Matthew actually found the Godzilla expanded universe novels.
Oh, dang.
Well, you see, here's what I'm mad about. He found the rarest one that at the time when I bought it was like $100.
Oh, I know what one you're talking about too.
And he found it at Half Price Books for like, what was it, $3 to $4?
Yeah, it's like $2.99.
I was so mad.
What if it was $299?
This is a recent pickup.
Ugh. Brother,
Stop.
Would you like me to just say Hawk 2? Spit on that thing?
It's the Terminator Salvation.
Nice.
Yeah. It's more like Terminator
Final Fantasy.
Annihilation. Oh.
And for some reason, I guess I just didn't grab it. But yeah, that Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, I got the Godzilla stuff at World's End. There's Godzilla 2000.
Is that a Pirates of the Caribbean tie-in?
Maybe.
At World's End.
Godzilla Returns.
Nice.
Is
And then
that
robots.
Do people still like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies?
I don't think. I never liked them.
Okay, so I was actually playing my piano recently, and I was playing the theme to Pirates of the Caribbean. On my piano, there's a setting to where it sounds like a harpsichord. If you were when I played that, it sounded like a Super Nintendo video game.
Have you found the machine gun sound on your keyboard?
When I was at a play, I did the music and the sound for it, and like I did it all from my my keyboard, and because I remember there was like this one time I had to like notate like which setting was which and like which note. Like there was like a rain scene, and then I had to add like a frog noise. But there was a scene in the play where a helicopter was like flying around, and it had a machine gun. It didn't have a machine gun like per se, so I had to use like a pistol and just like like a typewriter. And it was,
you know, I want there to be a movie about the Hawk 2 girl,
oh my god.
and I will write the novelization to it.
There'll be a documentary, I'm sure, soon.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
right
she got fired from her job as a teacher
She was a teacher?
at like a public school, and the kids found out, and they fired her. She's actually in a class action lawsuit.
It's funny because there's that one, and remember the that lady on the airplane? It was like, that MF is not real.
Oh,
You remember that
I
one?
sent that to you.
Yeah, like that one. I still see things on Twitter that are like, it shows a picture of her, and it's like, where is she now? It's like these people get weird with it, but yeah, the hot Tui thing. It's like
That is one of the funniest fucking things
yeah,
ever
I love
seen
that
in
it
my
came out
life.
in June. I like that one meme with the bus like crashing, the train crashing into the bus. It's
I've
like,
sent you guys probably like 8 different. I sent a lot of garbage, everyone. I'm a garbage fiend on the Instagram in particular, to the point where Adam doesn't respond anymore.
I'm terrible about responding on Instagram. For
Well, yeah, he'll come on, and there's probably like 50 videos I've sent him.
it's like,
they are
screw
funny
that.
though.
Yeah, I have exquisite taste in humor. Exquisite. Matthew's just been blocked out of Instagram forever.
Yeah, I mean, I recently got back in, and I don't know. I don't make myself get in the habit of checking Instagram very often. I got more into the TikTok. There's a lot of stupid,
See,
funny
I
things on
hate
there.
using TikTok. Gabby loves it. So I go on and I watch what she sends me and sometimes what Matthew sends me.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Mad Machad send a lot of stuff to each other. A lot of good stuff.
I just send. I have a friend who is obsessed with 9/11 memes.
That's horrible. But what
Matthew
Small Time
is-
is saying is true. 100% true. The lady saying that she was the woman on the plane does not look anything like the woman that was on the plane.
What if it's a Mandela effect thing?
It's like or like some sort of conspiracy. Like she's sitting there saying like that MF is not real. It's like, what did she see? What was she talking about? There's no clarification on what she was talking about. It's like an episode of the X-Files or something. We'll never know the truth.
It's I just love meme culture.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, are you guys angry video game nerd fans at all?
Is that Cinemassacre?
Yeah.
I enjoy some of his videos. I haven't seen all of them, but there's some.
Are you
Yeah.
familiar with the Cinemassacre Truth subreddit? So back a few years ago, when Mike Matei was still part of Cinemassacre, like he's such a petty a-hole, and I have no problem saying this because I got involved with Cinemassacre drama way back in like 2012. I had beef with Cinemassacre with the AVGN movie and stuff, and like that's a whole water under the bridge thing, so I won't get into that. But I will say this: Mike Matei is the most petty a-hole I think I have ever dealt with that wasn't related to me. He something else, like to the point where like he just banned people that didn't get along with him. The tipping point was, so there became a meme that he apparently had a big dick, and he posted on, I can't remember if it was Twitter or the Cinemassacre Reddit page, a picture of allegedly his penis and a ruler, and like there's children on there, and like it caused like kind of began to cause a schism. So now there's a subreddit called the Cinemassacre Truth, which is basically whenever something weird happens with Screenwave, who runs Cinemassacre, or like any weird like something that AVGN says, like they make it a meme. It's kind of hilarious, and like if you were a fan of 4chan back in the day, it's like that, where like he had to, one time they were doing a let's play, and James, who's the angry video game nerd, he's like, I have to leave at this time, and like he had like pick up his kids or something, and he kind of freaked out because he was leaving late. And so now the time that he said, because he kept saying I had to leave at like 7:40 or something like that, and so now that time is just on things. They'll just post that time everywhere, and it's just that, and like a bunch of other things are inspiring me to bring back Backpedalers podcast for like a 6-episode streak of the history of Cinemassacre, And all of
mini
just
series.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, he released a novel, not a novel. It was an autobiography. And guys, I've listened to people read excerpts from it. It might be the worst thing ever written. It might be worse than Aftermath.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the Star Wars canon that is worse than Aftermath.
It
But,
might be
you know.
worse than Queen Shadow.
The Queen's
It-
period. Queen's woke.
Ugh.
I was about to say, you probably don't want to say that title with your background all red, Matthew.
Oh.
It's just the when you read that part of Queen Shadow, did you think or was it Queen's Peril?
Queen's period.
Peril.
Peril.
Did you think of the blood going down the stairs in what is that Amityville Horror? Or like the blood torrent that comes down from in the hallway in
The Shining. Yeah. It's like Padme standing in, like the elevator opens up and Padme's in there, and there's just like splash. Like, no.
Incidentally, I could see Matthew having a Danny, expression, like reading that.
Rad round.
Oh, that's a movie. That's a movie that I hate that people love and they get mad when I say I don't like Kubrick's The Shining. I outright hate it. I think it's terrible.
Did you like the made-for-TV movie better?
No, I hate that too. It's a great book. It's an unfilmable book. No, I will say that the Kubrick Shining is more watchable than the TV made-for-TV one. At least Shelley Duvall's a good actress.
Yeah. Adam, did you have to make a comment?
Well, I have a funny story about that. So go ahead.
Mine changes the subject 100%. So you go first.
Okay. Well, as some of you guys know, I went to stay at the Stanley, the hotel where Stephen King got the inspiration to write The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually down the hall from the room that he stayed in, which like my room was like 30 feet away from it. It was like really cool. But anyway, I digress. They had this tour, and I posted you weren't allowed to film on the tour, but you were allowed to take pictures. But there's a picture. They have a replica of the bathroom where Jack Torrance goes in and finds the lady in the bathtub. Well, the tour guide, she said, yes, you guys are allowed to sit in the tub. Yes, you guys are allowed to take pictures. But she said, but I have 2 rules. And she's like, first, you cannot turn on the water. And she's like, and we're like, okay. She's like, the second rule, everybody please keep your clothes on. And I was like, what? And then it's just like, because when you hear something like that, you're like, okay, something had to happen. And she's like, yes, I have had to kick people out of the tour because they want to recreate the shot where he first sees her get out of the tub, nude and everything. I was like, what?
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That's wild.
That's most of that scene is not even in the book. He sees someone in the tub. He doesn't get all handsy with them.
You know what?
So my question.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no. Go ahead. Finish.
Well, me and Kelsey watched that movie. We were like, I wonder if that lady has actually been in any other movie. We looked. No, that was the only time she was ever in a movie.
That's not surprising. Kubrick would do that with a lot of just bring a person in for a certain thing.
What did Small Time say? Hopefully, I didn't.
That's from the book, and I'm like,
yeah.
Of course it is. It's actually grosser in the book. I won't get into that, but I remember the first time I read it, I was like, "What the heck am I reading?"
But I did recreate some Dumb and Dumber scenes from that hotel. Like, we've landed on the moon. Apparently, the bartenders hate everybody that does that, and I'm probably added to that list, but I don't care. I promised my brother I would do that. So,
See, it's funny that you mentioned that because that's where I was going with my question. Do you think Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing in a studio?
No,
No.
no.
Have you heard of that conspiracy, like that theory?
Yes. And I think that conspiracy mainly exists because of the moon stuff that's in Diamonds Are Forever, where he steals the moon buggy. And there's just like a random NASA base in the middle of the desert in Vegas. It's a nonsense scene because that movie's nonsense.
Weird.
But yeah, no, people landed on the moon. And no, I don't think they found Transformers on the moon like in Dark of the Moon.
have a good night, Matt and Chad. Thanks for joining us.
Later, Med.
Yeah, I'll need to go to bed soon.
Me too.
I'm tired. I still got to finish reading KOTOR Volume 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
I'm
Really weird.
currently reading Razor's Edge.
How you liking it?
I like I'm actually reading Cestus Deception and Razor's Edge. Cestus Deception is far better.
What's
than
that?
Razor's Edge. I like Cestus
Oh, yeah.
Deception. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Razor's Edge was hampered by she wasn't allowed to add any other EU in but the Brian Wood Star Wars comics, which Brian Wood said we're not in continuity with anything but A New Hope. Yeah, Brian Wood's a hack. He literally has the brown touch in everything he writes. What do you have in your hands?
What are you doing? I just spit take. Sorry.
That's a bread bowl. Yeah.
It's the
It's a paper bread bowl. But I'm over halfway through Rogue Planet.
and you
It's not
like it?
Yes, I like it a lot. It's a good book.
Jeremy,
Did
you see my review of Rogue Planet?
I don't remember it though.
I make a jab at Matthew in the video.
You should. There's no reason that took you a year to read. If you said it took you a year to read The Approaching Storm, I would believe you, because that book's boring. But
Well, yeah, I was talking, just like, I really, this book was actually surprisingly a quick read. I took me about like a few days to read. I can't think of a single person that it would take more than that. And I show a picture of Matthew holding, and it said 1 year.
To be fair, I think that the reason why it took a whole year is that there was a lot of that was back when I was reading Star Wars canon, and there was like a book coming out every 3 months or every 2 months or something. So I kept putting it on the back burner.
Because it took you forever to read Outbound Flight too.
I love that one though.
Yeah, and you like that.
Yeah.
I think there are very few Star Wars books like Rogue Planet where like it feels like hard sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the Bantam magical feel, but at the same time it has the old Del Rey, like the Brian Daley Han Solo stuff, hard sci-fi. And it's just wildly creative. Like it's probably one of the more creative prequel era books.
I mean, I'll probably revisit it one day because I mean, didn't you say that it's tied into a new Jedi Order book?
Yes, it sets up a few things and a character.
So I might have to go back whenever I get to that point and
the Vong are referenced in it.
Don't remember that.
They're not called the Vong. That's why you probably didn't realize it. It's not. It's like not quite like in Maul Lockdown. He fights that person he can't feel in the Force. Do you remember that in the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
That's a Vong.
So they started to drop little subtle hints throughout.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's cool.
And I honestly believe that the Vong would have showed up in Dawn of the Jedi and it would explain why they were cut off from the Force. Because they called the Jedi like the Jedi are called in Dawn of the Jedi. They refer to the Jedi as Jedi.
Interesting.
I'm gonna get back into Star Wars. I just needed a break, and
Yeah, I feel that.
because
I feel like taking a break myself.
and what's sad is like it's not just Star Wars. It was just books. Like we read a lot of books, and I enjoy it. But like whenever I got started, I was trying to reboot my film review channel, and it started get some traction. I was just like I got kind of caught up, and then I was just like, and I just realized like, oh crap, like 3 months have passed since I posted something on Red 5 Reviews.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about finishing the X-Wing books. I'm not calling it the Rogue Squadron series. I don't care what it's.
Well, because they aren't all Rogue Squadron books.
No, they're the
That's
X-Wing
true.
series. Like I haven't even finished all of them, and I'm calling them the X-Wing series.
I mean, Rogue Squadron's in most of them.
Well, I mean, I called it. I even said it. I was like, they're gonna name the next 4 books the Wraith Squadron books, and that's exactly what they did.
Then what are they going to call Izzard's Revenge and Starfighters
I have no
of
idea.
Ondamar?
Probably they
Izzard's
probably won't release
Revenge,
those.
also known as the Forgotten X-Wing book.
The
I
X-Wing
remember, like,
Expanded Adventures.
That's like my least watched video, Izzard's Revenge.
Well, no, I don't think people remember it exists. Like it's a book.
Like, yeah,
And the irony is the beginning of it's just the end of Last Command.
that one was pointless, and so was Starfighters of Adamar.
Yeah.
I just didn't care for that one at all.
You haven't read Mercy Kill yet, have you?
No.
No, that I'm waiting until I get to the timeline.
It's I like Mercy Kill. It's kind of bittersweet because it's Alston's last book before he died.
Okay.
And it seems like he probably would have written a couple more.
That's too
But
bad.
I want to
Yeah.
review. I'm going to start my first Star Wars comic review though, but it's not like a. I know I've reviewed Dark Empire on my old channel, but I'm gonna, revamp that at some point, and I want to review the one where Luke encounters the dragon snake.
Oh,
I have that,
that
yeah.
Adventures comic, yeah.
Because I just like how Yoda just messes with Luke throughout the whole story. Like,
Oh yeah,
he, I won't spoil it, but it's funny. But
it's a good one. It's one of the few. This is happening during Empire Strikes Back stories that exists in the EU. They do a lot of them for Empire, which is weird. The only one I can think of is the Golden Books book of Meltdown on Hoth, when R2D2 tried to turn on the heater and flooded Leia's quarters. It's a cute little story from my childhood. And it's to explain why C-3PO is mad at R2D2 in the first scene they're introduced in Empire Strikes Back.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I remember as a kid, like that blew my mind. Because there were only 2 kids, like little golden books for the EU. The other one is a Luke and Wendy adventure, which is a character that never gets brought up. Yeah, Luke has 2 friends named Wendy. One's a boy and the other's a girl. And like I think it's a continuity error that had to be explained later. That like they forgot that because there's like a young reader's book that came out later that's Luke runs into Wendy and Wendy's a girl. And it's like, no, he had 2 friends named Wendy. I'm like, there aren't that many people in this part of Tatooine. You're telling me that there's two people the same age, both with dark hair, Caucasians with dark hair, that are named Wendy?
that reminds me of the scene from the Family Guy Star Wars where Obi-Wan tells Luke, like, he's like, Luke, you really have a sister. And he goes like, oh my gosh, who is it? And Obi-Wan's like, who do you think? Who's the only other woman in the galaxy?
It's
Man.
funny.
I'm tired.
Me too.
Me too.
Should we call it?
Yeah. I need to get to
No.
bed.
Never. 24
Oh wait,
hours.
I'll take that back. Tales from the Bounty Hunters happens during Empire Strikes Back. Some of it doesn't. Like when IG-88 becomes the Death Star.
Matthew turned that
You
book
laugh
down.
at that. That's a thing that Kevin J. Anderson decided was a thing.
Matthew turned that
That's weird.
omnibus down.
The what?
Did he? The
Yeah,
Tales omnibus?
In our paper movies vlog. We were at Half Price Books. You found the
Shame.
Tales omnibus for like a really like $20, and you turned it down.
Oh, not the comic, the short stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. That was in perfect condition too.
Yeah,
But
that's-
it was either that or the complete Galaxy of Fear series.
Which is fair.
Oh, that I remember now. Yeah, you did the
Yeah.
better choice.
So
All right, and you get to meet John Whitman
next year.
Yep.
this year. Next
Legends
year,
Con.
spring. Yeah, that's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
dude.
I need to get my plane ticket.
We were talking in our chat. We were just like, it'd be funny. Let's dress up as canon characters and go to a Legends Con.
I thought about dressing up as Indiana Jones.
Heck yeah, dude.
I'll dress up as Captain
Adam's-
Kirk or something.
Adam's gonna be Ray.
And you're gonna be Pondo Babo.
I'll be who?
Is that's no, it's Bobo Freak. The little guy in Rise of Skywalker.
Babu Freak?
Yeah, it's the little guy that like makes C-3PO read the Sith language.
I have
Actually,
Do you
no
not
idea.
remember that?
No, I don't.
I'm
He
actually
goes,
gonna.
"Hey."
Babu?
Yeah, I think it's
Babu Frick?
like
Is that right?
Freak or-
That's starting
I
to come
don't
back to me
fucking
now.
know. I watched the thing once. It was embarrassing.
I saw it like twice.
Yeah, he hangs out with Zori Bliss, the body
Who?
double that someone famous voiced.
Who?
The people that fly the Y-wing in Rise of Skywalker.
Wait, there's a Y-wing in the Rise of Skywalker?
I don't know if you're trolling.
Are you
me
making
or
this?
not.
No, there's a Y-wing in?
I
How
mean,
come
in
I
all
don't remember
fairness,
this?
and I think at this point he's more like, "There's a Rise of Skywalker."
Yeah, that's what it makes
No, like,
sense.
wait, hold on. There's a Y-wing for real
Yes.
in Rise
There's
of
a
Skywalker.
bounty hunter that flies a Y-wing. And there's a tiny alien named Babu Freak or Freak.
I remember
or
that. It's
something.
like a little guy that fixes C-3PO.
Yeah, he hacks C-3PO's brain so he can read the Sith language.
Okay, I
Because
remember
for some
that.
reason
That's coming back.
C-3PO can't read the Sith language legally.
But he's familiar with how many forms of communication?
Well, he's familiar with it, but he can't legally do it. He's not programmed to actually read it out loud and interpret it. So they have to erase his memory. And then so it's really sad for 2 seconds until you realize that all the people C-3PO actually cared about that care for him back are all dead.
Ah,
And Chewbacca's not there. Chewbacca's the only one that's left that kind of cares about C-3PO.
yeah, that was like in the trailer, right? He's like, "Oh, let me have one last look at
Just
my
look at
friends,"
some
and it's like
friends.
Poe Dameron and
Ray and
that's it.
Finn.
Ray. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you need your friends. These
And
people don't know you.
BB-8 is there. I guess BB-8's C-3PO's friend. The only
I
one that's
guess.
kind of nice to him. The others like hate him.
Yeah,
They all hate C-3PO, and then it's immediately played up for laughs that he doesn't remember who anyone is. He's like, Babu Freak, my oldest friend. And I was like, oh no. But it doesn't matter because R2-D2 brings all of his memories back. Because for some reason he has all C-3PO's memories.
he backs him up.
He backs
He's
him
got it.
up like
He's
that.
got his back.
Yeah.
Back
Because
up.
R2-D2 had to do something other than be in Poe's orange X-Wing.
That's right. That blew
Because
up, right?
they don't do jack shit with R2-D2 in that trilogy.
Nope. I'll tell you what, instead of Ray, I'll dress up as that scrap collector that Ray worked for. I'm just like, what you brought me is worth 3/4 portions.
Simon Pegg's character, the famous Unglar Plutt.
Carry like a blue muffin around with you. Heck yeah,
But
dude.
it's gotta be like soggy looking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Just a
blueberry
wet,
muffin, just
soggy muffin.
pour water on it or something.
Yeah.
And put it in a bag.
Oh, wait, no, wait. Better yet. Get a blueberry muffin and buy that blue milk that they're selling now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just soak it in that.
Just soak it in
You
your
just
own
run,
milk.
just walk up to people, 3/4 portion. They're like, "What are you talking about?" And you're like,
They're like,
Babu
why do
Frick.
Most important character in all of Star Wars. I don't know.
What
If
is the man who saved the galaxy? Babu
Yeah.
Frick. Freak?
Yeah,
Frick?
I don't know.
I don't freaking know.
And then Ponto Babu is the guy that Obi-Wan cuts the arm off of in the original Star Wars.
Is it Pondu Babo?
Yeah, I think that's his.
let's
Butt face alien.
let's dress up as those guys instead.
Oh,
Yeah. We're wanted in 3 systems. 3?
I have to
12.
distance it over 12 systems.
12 systems.
You'll be dead.
You'll be dead. It's good line.
That's Dr. Zimmerman. I can't remember
think
his name.
It would be fun to revisit the Disney canon movies, like the sequel trilogy, like
I
a
don't
watch
think so.
along. Just knowing how bad canon is now.
Well,
I don't.
garbage.
I think it's just going to be upsetting. I really think I'm
mean,
just going to be upset by the end.
Yeah,
Rise of Skywalker was so bad. Like
Yeah.
people, I don't think people truly understand how horribly stupid and embarrassing it was to be a Star Wars fan watching Rise of Skywalker.
that was the one where Kylo Ren was like in a forest or something.
And it
you're
was
like, where-
Mustafar.
Yeah, and you find out in the novelization that it's Mustafar, and you're like, wait, what?
And it's at the ruins of Vader's castle, which doesn't make any
Yes.
sense.
No.
So
And then Palpatine is all the Sith put together. He's every woman. It's all in you.
Yeah.
And then like Ahsoka talks to stupid ass Rey because every Jedi talks to her, but they're all prequel Jedi. And like Ahsoka is one of them, and I'm like, Ahsoka's not a Jedi,
No.
but that's neither here nor there.
well,
But then again, Ahsoka is the daughter from the Mortis arc now. That's basically what they've made her. And Anakin's the father. So who's going to be the brother? That's what they're building to. That's what Filoni's building to. His stupid Mortis thing.
you see, what I'm not really liking from some of these films, and not just Star Wars, but there's like a theme going that all of your heroes grew up to be, broken,
Washed up, broken people.
Like the only like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, and I know they're like trying to do this whole story, like them having to overcome their failures or something like that. But I'm just like, it's just out of character for some. Like for Indiana Jones, I had somewhat more respect towards it because have you seen Dial of Destiny, Matthew?
I forgot that existed. No.
Do you plan on seeing it?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
you don't care about
they
spoilers?
kill Mutt.
Yeah, they reveal like
Off screen?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
because Shia LaBeouf was so hard to work with, they would never work with him again. So you have to do something, and it's the 2010/2020s, so we're just gonna murder him.
But they did like reference him though.
Yeah,
Yes.
they referenced that he died in the
Killed him.
war.
Yeah, died in Vietnam.
And
It's probably one of the better scenes of that movie, even though Phoebe Waller-Bridge is there being the worst. She's just the worst in everything. You know, she's going to be Laura Croft. I'm sorry,
didn't know that.
Lara Croft. Yeah, Amazon has the rights to Tomb Raider. They're going to make a woke Tomb Raider. I don't want that.
They're gonna remake.
I miss
James
the
Bond,
days
too.
when Lara Croft would just take an artifact because she wanted to. Like
She
that
was-
was fun.
She was like the
But-
Catwoman of video games.
Yeah, and she was just rich and she hunted for artifacts because it was something to do.
I
And,
bought
like,
I bought the remastered version for my Nintendo Switch.
yeah.
I just like 2 days ago beat the first game.
Oh,
Never
how'd
played
you
it
like
before. I thought it was great. It got weird, but it was fun.
Tomb Raider 2's better.
I started that one.
3 is really hard.
Oh, great.
I saw scenes from a Tomb Raider game where she goes up against like the Loch Ness monster or something.
Yeah, that's an Underworld. I don't know. In the third one, well, actually, I won't spoil that. The final boss in the third one is just whack. Absolutely whack. Well, she fights that demon thing in the first game at the very end.
Yeah, it was weird.
The second one's a fun boss. I won't spoil that either.
Okay.
But yeah, that first time you fight a T-Rex, man, that's
It was like, yeah, I was
that's a
like, wait, what
blast.
is this? What's happening? Getting locked up in like a meat pyramid. Like, is
Yeah, it
getting weird.
becomes
This is
pretty
getting real weird.
Hellraiser at the end.
yeah, got real weird.
Oh yeah, those games get really weird. All of them get really weird. Actually, I take that back. The last game didn't get really weird. The last game just got annoying and boring, and she's just the most unlikable character. And she says, "Thank you for telling your stories." She's the worst. They gave her Pillsbury Doughboy face, which was bad enough. But then, like, I don't get it. It's like in modern games, you can't have a woman be a feminine looking woman. They got to have man face. Like they made Mary Jane, you know, my comic book crush, look like a dude. In Spider-Man 2, the PS4 game, it's like she was pretty cute in that first game. Like she looked like Mary Jane you would imagine her to look. And then suddenly she looks like the director of the game. Like, oh, self-insert. It's just fugly looking people. It's just weird. It's like I think more women should be offended by this.
Yeah.
They're manning up the women.
I guess
I remember we were talking about what was that? The Jedi woman in Jedi Fallen Order, where she looked weirdly bug-eyed. Do you remember that?
Like yes, like one
Because
of the main
she doesn't
character
look like
ladies.
that in real life. It's like they mocap her face, and she
It's like
looks.
the eyes were popping out of her head.
Her eyes are popping out. She looks like Beetlejuice. You know that little guy that says the weird shit on Howard Stern? She had a Beetlejuice face.
Yeah.
That's
I
like a
guess I'm
deep
gonna-
cut that people aren't going to get.
I'm gonna head out, guys. I'm getting pretty
All
tired.
right.
Yeah.
I should too.
Probably need to get out
Edit
of
a
here.
lot of this garbage. There he is. Matthew.
Yeah,
It's you. Legends Con.
that's right.
You
Me
guys
and Adam
have a good
both.
night.
I think we're all out of here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get out of
2.5
here.
hours. Later, dudes.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.